Hello folks, welcome to Toy Reel. I'm Jason the Bruce, and today, not only am I looking at a new figure, I'm looking at a figure from a brand that I've never touched before. I think I'll start with a little bit of context. You've already seen the thumbnail, so you know what I'm looking at. But Four Horsemen have been making figures for quite some time. The first time I came across them was when they were doing the He-Man Classics. And whilst towards the end of the line, there were a couple of figures that I now regret not getting. At the time, I didn't really look that closely. It had kind of started before I got back into buying toys. And then I found out about things. I was like, oh, this looks really exciting. Oh, I should look at this character. I used to have this character. And then it was gone. And then the movie stuff was out, but they were just ridiculously expensive. But I've never really looked at them. I know that Clinton is a big fan of them. He has a whole heap of the Mythic Legion stuff. This particular figure is by Figura Obscura, which is... I don't actually understand why this is its own thing. I guess this is just they can do special stuff without it being in the Mythical Legions universe, which I guess makes sense. And this is a repaint of a figure that one of our members had as their top figure last year. Ironically, I didn't know that when I pre-ordered it. Here's another look at it without all the plastic wrap on it. It is really gorgeous. And I'm going to open this up to camera as the first time you're actually seeing this before I do. I really, really, really like this. This looks gorgeous. I didn't even know this. Oh, that is so cool. It's not just a cover. It literally comes off. That is brilliant. Not only is this a slipcover for the box, but it's one that completely comes off and becomes a backdrop. That is phenomenal. I love that so much. So, I figured I'd start by having an actual closer look at the artwork that was on this backdrop. I mean, this is just phenomenal. I've never seen anybody else do this. I'm not saying that nobody else does. Somebody else does. Like, you usually get, like, basic cardboard stuff inside the box, right? But this is something that you could play a card game. Like, this is board game material. This is decent quality stuff. And then we get into the actual figure itself. So, this particular version has a green cloak. The one that Simon was showing off last year had a red cloak. I don't remember all of the details of it because it wasn't a video that I was part of. But this looks really pretty. I like the fact that you get both heads. I'm not sure which one I prefer. I mean, in theory, you go with this one because it's Santa, right? But at the same time, I mean, he's in a different outfit, so why not, right? I don't know. I just don't know. I'm gonna have to play around and decide. The beautiful artwork continues on the back. Continuing around, you get a view of him in his sleigh. Beautiful moon. And then it continues. Figura Obscura. Here we have their logo. Four Horsemen. Da-da-da-da-da. Interesting that this still says 2022 when this is a 2023 figure. Maybe they're using the same box. Or maybe this was just a pre-order of a re-released colorway they did. I don't know. And on the top, we have the Four Horsemen logo. Before we break into the actual figure, I thought that I would actually show off the front of this box as well. I mean, I know I showed it off briefly, but I just wanted to lay it out flat when I realised that this actually is one giant piece of artwork as well. This really does feel like the premium brand that I've been told that it is. And I haven't even got to the figure yet. Another little backdrop on the inside. So in theory, if you don't like the other one, you could use this. It is something that would feel very much at home. Joints on Mythic Legion figures can become tight after production when posing Mythic Legion figures for the first time, especially during cold weather. It's recommended that heat in form of warm air from a hairdryer or warm water be used on tight joints in order to loosen the joints slightly before posing gently. Before posing, gently rock the joint forwards and backwards, or clockwise and counterclockwise, based on the type of joint until the joint moves freely. Failure to do so may result in irreparable joint breakage. And here we are with all of the accessories. And, oh my lord, there's a lot of accessories here. First things first, this is a Christmas tree. This literally just looks like a standard Christmas tree decoration. But also, to be fair, it kind of really works. It does really work. Be careful when you're taking this trumpet out. I bent mine very easily when I was taking this out of the package. But the trumpet looks quite nice. We have a drum here for the little drummer boy with a real chain attached. That is like quite literally real chain. Really, really nice decorations too. The base of the figure is a tuft of snow, which is a really nice touch. We have a little Christmas elf decoration here, a little doll for somebody to play with. We have the lamp that looks like it's been lit up. Here we have his hood. We'll look at that a little bit more closer when we get to the figure, but one thing I do notice is that that is actually a real metal buckle, which is nice. There's also another belt here, which is interesting. I'm not 100% sure where this belt goes. I'll have to spend time figuring that out, obviously. And this might just be the most gorgeous cane I've ever seen somebody presented with. This is gorgeous. I love the knurled hook up here on the top. There's also this. I'm not 100% sure what that's meant to be, honestly. Maybe that just goes on the bottom of this. Doesn't really feel like it does, though. Not 100% sure what this is for. We also have a couple of wreaths. At least that's what I'm assuming they are, unless these are supposed to go on top of the head. So there's two of those. And then we get into what was inside of the sack. Those of you that watched the best of 2020 will have seen one of our members going on about this figure and talking about what was inside of it. So inside of that we have a little rubber duck. Perhaps the cutest fox I've ever seen. And 2 Mythic Legion helmets. Quite literally, these are Mythic Legion helmets from Mythic Legion figures. And like these are quite weighty too, honestly. None of this feels cheap. We have a secondary sack of toys here, which is nice. And then, of course, we have the sack that they all came in. And that's what it looks like once it's tied back up, which is just fun. I really, really like this so far. And here we have the actual figure himself, who is just looking stunning. Definitely some stiff joints, like they're warned. Oh, that one's not too bad. Elbows a little stiff. Wrist is fine. Yep, so there's definitely some stiff joints there. Oh, gorgeous. Fully painted. Love. This is all soft goods, which is lovely. That is a rubber. That was not actually connected yet, which is interesting. So in theory, if you look up there, we have another metal clasp. I would probably recommend taking this off without the head joint, without the head on. So the blue outfit is fairly standard. There's nothing really fancy about that. All of the fancy is on the outside. Oh, I didn't even notice that. There's pockets in the jacket, which is quite nice. I actually do like the white. I don't know which one I prefer. And I didn't really notice this at first. They are actually different heads. So hypothetically, if you had both of these, you could have one head and the other. The face is very clearly based on the same, but the beard is different. I kind of really like that. What's the back look like? Yeah, I really like that. It's really, really cool. Ears are slightly different too. So you could legitimately have these as 2 different characters in your world if you wanted. There we go. There's the belt on properly. So far, that's what I think that's supposed to be for. So this is just big enough for that little wooden piece that I wasn't sure what it was. And then that does fit in there, kind of. I'm still not 100% sure. This is not a figure stand because there's no post on the bottom of this to go into it. So I'm still not 100% sure on this. I do like it though. Nope, I'm an idiot. It's for the Christmas tree, Jason. Of course it's for the Christmas tree. And here we have an actual scene that I've set up. Now, obviously, this is kind of rough, but I've just kind of tried to do what I can in a short amount of time. The joints on this are pretty much as you expect from their warning. Like, some of them are quite tight. The wire in the jacket helps you pose it pretty much however you want. I've managed to get mine snagged as I was doing it. I would probably change my posing just a little bit, and I think I've just made him not stand again. So it took me quite a while to figure out what was going on with this base here, because for some reason I had the thought that it was for this guy initially, but no, it's actually for the Christmas tree. And once you put the Christmas tree in it, these do fit on the head. I've kind of put one at the base of the tree and one on the figure, but they do fit on the head pretty much perfectly. I'm still not 100% sure which of the heads I prefer, honestly. I do like both of them. in the green, I kind of feel like the brown makes more sense because it kind of feels like a younger version of him. I don't know. You obviously can go through and pose all of these on it. It's just a matter of getting everything right. This would fit into the pocket quite easily. This belt is designed to replace the plastic one, as far as I can understand. And then it gives you places to basically hook through the trumpet and so forth. But instead of doing that, I've got mine under the tree. Just because it kind of makes a little bit of sense that way. I do have the drum on him. You don't necessarily need to do that. You could probably put that on the tree as well. It's just a matter of posing things how you want them, pretty much. The joint for my wrist is a little bit loose. The only reason I mention this is that if you're hoping to be able to pose it so that the cane will make up for any misbalance of the pose that you have, you can't rely on this to hold your figure in place. You are going to have to pose it so that it makes it balance with the feet. Or alternatively, you will need to use like an actual figure stand or something. But as far as figures is concerned, and premium figures at that these aren't cheap. Make no mistake, these are not cheap figures. But this is phenomenal. I'm extremely impressed with the detail. The paint apps on the faces are really, really pretty. They're really nice. The fact that I've never really seen a Four Horsemen figure may have something to do with why I'm really impressed by this. I'm certainly putting this right up there with the Joy Toy Warhammer figures, and you know how much we think of those. It's a really, really nice figure. All of the extra details they give you with it really, really help set the character apart. This is definitely going in my display as a little Christmas thing, but I am very impressed. I highly recommend checking these out, especially if they have a figure that jumps out at you, whether it be from the Figura Obscura or something from Mythic Legions. I would definitely recommend checking them out because I'm massively impressed here.
This episode of Toy Reel is proudly brought to you by Cool Toys Club and Joy Toy World.